Live from Hazard, Kentucky, this is Jammin John's Wrestling News. Here's your news for Thursday, October 11th, 2018. In an interview with WrestlingInc.com, indie wrestling star Chuck Taylor commented on WWE by saying, "I like punk rock music, and to me, WWE is Nickelback. I know they've got loads of fans, but that's not cool to me. I want to go to a small venue in South Philadelphia, and I want to watch a punk band play in front of 400 people that want to be there, that love it, that love every song. That's cool to me. I don't like mass-marketed stuff." Chuck Taylor continued on by saying, "I think it's like anything else in wrestling. When it's bad, it's really bad. Some of their stuff is borderline unwatchable, and that's coming from a lifelong wrestling fan. But when they do something right with their production and everything else, it's fantastic. That's not me kissing their butts trying to get a job because they'd never sign me in a million years." Chuck Taylor continued on by saying, "Before, if you weren't in WWE, there were like 7 guys in wrestling that were making a living and not needing an extra job. Now there's so many guys that can do it. I don't necessarily need to be rich, just let me pay my bills." During an appearance on Dave Pincer's podcast, Anthem Sports President Ed Normholm admitted that Impact Wrestling almost shut down last year. Ed Normholm said, "I would say that when we got into August and September of 2017, I think that was probably coming into our darkest period, and we had to make some hard decisions on whether we could or should carry on." Wade Keller of ProWrestlingTorch.com noted the following regarding the United States' relationship with Saudi Arabia and how it could impact WWE's business deal with the Middle Eastern country. Wade Keller tweeted on Twitter, "Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut, the home of WWE's headquarters, says if the Turkish allegation of murder is true, it should represent a fundamental break in our relationship with Saudi Arabia. This could end up being troublesome for WWE's event deal with Saudi Arabia." And Josh Dawsey tweeted, "The Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, ordered an operation to lure Jamal Khashoggi back to Saudi Arabia and then detain him, according to U.S. intelligence intercepts of Saudi officials discussing the plan. The White House is still saying very little." And with a follow-up to the WWE Saudi Arabia story, Dave Meltzer of 4FWOnline.com recently commented on the situation between WWE talents and the controversy with Saudi Arabia heading into the Crown Jewel event. Here's what Meltzer said, courtesy of RingsideNews.com. "I haven't even bothered because what does it matter what they think when you really think about it? I'm sure that the law of averages, whatever it is, there's 200 people on that roster, you know, and the law of averages is that there are probably dozens that probably don't want to go or don't feel right about something." Meltzer continued on by saying, "But if you said something now, it would create a mainstream media story. It would shine a light on this whole thing, and it would be bad for WWE if the light was shined on this right now. So anybody who says anything publicly, and that's the thing because nobody says anything anyway, you don't really have, I don't want to say you don't have freedom of speech there, but you kind of, it's different from most companies." And there's actually a brand new update on the WWE Saudi Arabia situation. The WWE has issued a very short response to this situation just a few minutes ago, saying, "We are currently monitoring the situation." Nothing more was said than that, so it appears the Crown Jewel event is still on as scheduled at this point. Of course, as you know, there is a huge world news story going around about a controversy surrounding Saudi Arabia possibly murdering a journalist. And once again, the WWE has issued a very short response to this controversy by saying, "We are currently monitoring the situation." Stay tuned to Jammin John's Wrestling News for any further breaking news updates on this story. After peaking over $90 per share in recent weeks, WWE stock has started to drop and closed at $82.68 on Wednesday. Even with the drop, WWE stock is still way above the 52-week low of $21.22. Chris Harrington commented on the future of WWE stock by saying, "I can't speak to the DCF model, but I think unless the UK and India deals really wow, WWE stock will find a new normal. $60 seems far more realistic than the current state." In an interview with TMZ.com, Ronda Rousey talked about her match with Nikki Bella headlining the Evolution pay-per-view and referred to the Bella Twins as a couple of untrustworthy witches. Of course, got to keep it PG, she didn't really say witches. Dave Meltzer of 4FWOnline.com recently commented on Mike and Maria Kanellis moving to the 205 Live brand. Here's what Meltzer said, courtesy of RingsideNews.com. I think that her because she's a really good talker and has a good personality on a show that probably needs somebody different. I think her being on the show is good, and for him, it's like he was going nowhere on Raw or SmackDown. I think that was very clear that they were going to do nothing with him, so at least he's somewhere where he'll get a little bit of something. It's a good move. ProWrestlingSheet.com noted the following about Sasha Banks being absent from WWE television. ProWrestlingSheet.com said, heard a source that Sasha Banks is dealing with a back injury, but I'm not sure how serious it is. Have had trouble getting more info or additional confirmation from sources. The WWE announced the following today on Twitter. The WWE tweeted, breaking, NXT UK, a new weekly episodic series featuring the greatest male and female competitors from the UK, will stream on WWE Network on Wednesdays beginning October 17th at 8 p.m. And finally, here on Jammin' John's Wrestling News, according to Dave Meltzer of 4FWOnline.com, the full extent of the damage to Kevin Owens' knee injury won't be known until he actually has surgery. While the hope is that Owens will only be out of action for up to 4 months, it's possible Owens could miss up to 8 months of action if he needs major surgery. Regarding the Bobby Lashley heel turn on Raw, Meltzer is reporting that the decision to turn Lashley and Lio Rush heel was made the day of the show. The idea was that with Owens being written off television, there would be an open spot for a top heel, and the argument was that Lashley was badly needed to turn. Meltzer added that Rush was seen using an IFB earpiece, so Vince McMahon can personally feed him lines, with one source noting that every line was fed by Vince McMahon. That is your news for Thursday, October 11th, 2018. Check back here tomorrow for another Jammin' John's Wrestling News Flash Briefing on Amazon Alexa devices. Big shout out to everybody listening to this on YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Stewie Family is the name. Follow me on Twitter at John Caldwell, JONCOLWELL. Follow me on Instagram, the Jammin' John. If you'd like to sponsor Jammin' John's Wrestling News, or your wrestling promotion wanting to get your next big event out through the awesome power of Amazon Alexa, you can email me, jzcaldwell@gmail.com. That's JZCOLWELL@gmail.com. Big shout out to Ryan Hurdle and Tony Nelson for subscribing to my Patreon. You too can subscribe to me by going to patreon.com/jamminjohn. I have free packages on there ranging from $3 to $7. Not a whole lot of money. I would really appreciate it if you supported me a little bit financially. Once again, that's patreon.com/jamminjohn. This is Jammin' John saying thanks, goodbye, and I'll see you tomorrow.